Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Jones, and my first guest today is an old friend, or getting to be kind of a regular, Stephen Whitaker, CEO of John 316.
Hi.
Good to have you here, buddy.
So good to be back. Appreciate it.
For the folks who might have missed it, what
Right.
is John 316?
So we're the rescue mission is what people typically know about what we do in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we serve the homeless. We have homeless recovery programs, and we actually serve those at risk of being homeless and women and children and kind of the urban side of town, and help provide meals and care for them as well.
I got to tell you, the other night, my wife and I were driving somewhere and made the mistake of getting on Harvard. And they're in the process of resurfacing Harvard from point A to point B. I mean, it's single lane traffic in some places, and it's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
But along the way, I saw several instances of guys and gals
Yeah.
pushing carts,
Yeah.
grocery carts with their belongings, and I thought, where do they go?
Yeah.
What do they do on nights that the weather changes or goes bad?
Well, it's great that you ask, because it's hard to be one of those folks, and they are spread out more around town than what we've seen in years past. It's kind of typically would be downtown, and now we see folks all around town, and some are just doing their best to get by in those particular areas. Some others kind of have a panhandling strategy, but most of all, we just try to get word out to them that there's a place they can come, be warm, be fed, be cared for, and that there's a chance maybe to get life squared away and to go through recovery, whatever they need to get their lives squared away. And that's different for everybody. I need my life squared away some days too. So,
So don't we all?
Yeah.
It seems as though we share a common problem with every city, town, and hamlet all across the country.
right.
And the need for assistance is growing.
It is.
Am I reading that wrong?
Well, the need is growing, and there's a longer conversation to be had about what's causing all of that. We believe in a dignifying process of recovery at John 316 mission. So we're trying to call people to a higher calling and encouraging them to go through a process of just finding out where they've missed it and why things aren't connecting. Like, I hate to assert what normal is for anybody. Everybody gets to choose as an American what they want to do with their life, but if they're struggling and they want something different, we want them to know there's a place like John 316 mission where they can come get the help that they might need.
Is there a meal there?
Always a meal, always a bed,
Really?
always a shower,
Men and women?
men and women. Now, there's a little bit of a different portal for both to get the help that they might need, but now we have an expanded West Campus over by Central High School in Tulsa there, where we have a working farm, a working ranch, recovery programs for men and women to help people get their lives back. So there really is hope.
I see a lot of the homeless folk with dogs.
Right.
What about them?
We're working on that. As a matter of fact, if somebody wants to jump on board with a project, we're working on a spot right adjacent to our shelter to have a pet accommodation. There's some low barrier strategies from some other providers that I'm not willing to do that kind of might contribute to the problem if you look at it from our perspective. But a pet, if I was sleeping on the street tonight, I'd want to have a pet with me to let me know that somebody was around or that maybe there's something unsafe. Pets are a family for those on the street, just like they might be for you and I. So we want to have a place for people to drop their pets off at both of our campuses, and we're working on that now.
Could we talk maybe a little in depth about the recovery program?
Sure.
Because there's a lot of it. I don't understand what you do.
Right.
Fill in the blanks there.
So every town in this country has individuals that lose their way. Maybe some guy's been in the guy in mom's basement, or some guy who's the pastor is getting counseling the pastor at church, and he needs more intensive work to be ready to hold a job, or ready. Maybe he's got a mental illness issue or something. So we have a comprehensive custom-built program for every person that comes to us that has 5 pillars, and over a year's time, someone can come for free to John 316 mission, have all their meals, all their curriculum, all their recovery, all their clinical, all their physical wellness, support getting back to work, support reconciling with the court and with their family, and over that period of a year, we have a great success rate of people staying housed, staying employed, and being the person that they they dreamt that they wanted to be when they were young, and they just lost their way. And sometimes people are hopeless that they can ever get that back. But we see it every day, people getting their lives back at John 3:16.
You know, a few months ago, and you have competition. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Sure.
But a few months ago, my wife and I were driving around taking pictures at random of homeless people, the conditions they were in, what was going on. And pretty soon we began to recognize that certain days of a given month, the dope dealers would come out to sell to the homeless
Right.
who had the money to buy their drugs. And once the dealers made the sale and were gone, I'm thinking, how do you get a control of this?
Yeah, yeah. Well, law enforcement are quick to work with us when we have those folks come around, and there are those that are struggling with substance abuse that we serve. It's been a wonderful tool for us on the expansion of Medicaid in Oklahoma. I think we might have talked about that. Had just kind of happened last year when we got to visit.
Yeah.
And it has been really helpful because now agencies can bill the state or however Medicaid works for mental health care and substance abuse support and of course normal physical health care kind of things. And that's been a tremendous tool for us. Not only does it save the mission money on what would otherwise be a very expensive part of a program, but it's been very useful to help people get the care that they need to get off substances and to deal with mental health issues.
I got to tell you, the only way you'd recognize the dealers is by their face because they dress the part.
Yeah.
You can't tell them apart from the actual homeless.
Yeah, I can get frustrated about it with you really quickly. I'm thankful for law enforcement that come when we call, when we can identify those folks. I will say that on property, our staff are very good at identifying those people. And in fact, there's a self-policing that goes on that those that are coming into the mission and want to have a bed and that's their church. They come to chapel every night and they want a safe shower and they want some peace to get some rest. They'll let us know if somebody comes in that's or is around that is a bad influence. They want to protect that environment.
As you sit here now, knowing all that you know, and all that they face when they're on the streets and when they get to you,
Yeah.
what's the outlook for the coming year?
Well, I'd like to think it's positive. With the expansion of our recovery campus, I think we have a lot of work in front of us that's positive and will make a dent in the issue. We'll see. In Tulsa, of course, we just elected a new mayor, and so that there's some unknowns there of what that approach to helping provide a consolidated approach with all the other agencies will look like, and how coordinated we can get, how quickly. I think that is a big answer to that question that you asked about how's next year look. The economy, of course, drives a lot of it and how we do in the near term on just simple economics and the additional support we can provide with mental health and substance abuse. I think it's probably going to be a challenge going forward with some of the conditions we see. All we can do at John 3:16 is put our head down and continue to work and create awareness and be vigilant.
And just kind of bow your neck and dive in.
That's right. That's right.
Reminds me of a song. Where did that come from? Doors to the mission,
Oh,
open at 7.
yeah.
Meals will be ready about 9, but right now it's 6:30. They're ragged and dirty.
Yeah.
They're sitting and standing and laying in line.
Wow.
You ought to get that song.
I should get that song.
I'll get you that.
Okay, I appreciate
I'll
that.
get you that. So hey, listen, thanks, Stephen, for coming by.
Sure, my
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thanks for having us.
And we'll do it again.
Okay.
And keep
Deal.
hammering away till maybe we make a dent in it together.
Okay. Amen.
All
Amen.
right, you're a good man. We'll be back and take another one right after this.